Hello there, and welcome to another of Andre's Artist Profiles. And today, I'm going to be profiling Mr. Declan MacManus. I think that's the way his name is pronounced. Well, more popularly known as Elvis Costello. Okay, now to start out with, these 13 CDs you see stacked before you are actually incomplete, even within the context of my own record collection. What happened is that last Tuesday, actually the Tuesday before last, there was a massive CD organizing campaign, alphabetization, etc., etc. And when you have hundreds of CDs you've gotten from dollar stores or wherever, it's really hard to organize them. And two records, which you're not going to see in this, that are on CD, the duet album between Elvis Costello and Burt Bacharach, and the Juliet Letters with the Kronos Quartet are sadly not here, but this is the 13 that I have. And I know a lot of people consider 13 an unlucky number, but that's not germane to what I'm talking about here. So anyway, a lot of these I got through the old BMG Music Club for absolutely nothing when they were closing out. This is the deluxe edition of Elvis Costello's debut album. My Name is True. My Aim is True. He looks a little bit like Buddy Holly, holding his guitar in the stance of a assault rifle there. And of course, the big hit on this album, such as it was Allison. That actually is one of those songs that has the album title in it. My Aim is True. There's no title song per se, but it's in one of the songs. Anyway, my favorite song on here is Watching the Detectives. Very much influenced by the reggae explosion of the time. This came out in 1997. Wonderful album, wonderful extras, classic. Most people know it. Anyway, that's his first album. My Aim is True, deluxe edition. Now, as you'll notice, I don't have this year's model, but maybe we can add that to the next year when I find the other two Elvis Costello I have. This is another from the more recent remasters series. Also, I got him from BMG at closeout. Armed Forces. This is his 1979 record with the Attractions. Actually, musically influenced a lot by ABBA and a lot of early power pop. There's been different covers, but that's actually my favorite. Alright, this album by Elvis Costello and the Attractions is called Get Happy. This is where you hear him really integrating a lot of soul into his sound. Now, some of the songwriting on this is honestly a little bit samey, but I don't care. Whatever's samey is still really good. This guy is one songwriter. I mean, he's a fantastic songwriter and very interesting musical character. Okay, the next one up here is Blue. Now, this is from an earlier remastered series. As you can see on the back, it's the extended play series. I think it came out around 1994. I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually in a blue jewel case. Almost Blue is actually the name of the album. This is something of a jazz blues kind of album. His father was a Dixieland musician and I believe an impresario who knew Billie Holiday and stuff like that. So this might have been kind of an early tribute to the kind of music his dad might have made. Now, this album has a great song on it I love called Watch Your Step, Trust. That song was even so popular, it was used in an episode of The Simpsons. But anyway, this is also a very soul-oriented album. Actually kind of goes a little bit further into the sound of Get Happy. Actually, I think it's one of his best albums, also from 1981. This is Imperial Bedroom from 1982. Yep, this album finds him going into more psychedelic musical territory. He's definitely expanding his sound on each one of his albums. He just grows a little bit more every time. Now, a lot of Elvis Costello fans are really divided on this album, Punch the Clock, but it's actually one of my favorites. I grew up listening to a 45 of Every Day I Write the Book. Most of the 45s in my family belonged to my mother. This is one of the ones that belonged to my dad. So this is the Elvis Costello I knew. And this is a very, very strong funk and soul album. Funk, soul, and jazz are something Elvis Costello did very well, and he's such a great pop songwriter, he can just pull anything off. He's really good within that spectrum, so I respect that album. Okay, now here's one that a lot of Elvis Costello fans love to hate. But I don't love to hate anything. And I don't hate this. This is a great mid-80s new wave synth rock album, Goodbye Cruel World. Very slick production. If you don't like Duran Duran, Kajagoogoo, that sort of thing, you're not going to like this much. The production's very much in that category, but it's a perfect extension, actually, off of Punch the Clock. Here's another one from the extended play series from the mid-90s, Blood and Chocolate. This returns him to more of his basic pop and rock roots, but there's some wonderful songs on here. Here's the attractions at that particular time. Looks excited, doesn't he? Anyway, here's the back of it. Song listings for both discs. Another from that same series, 1986, King of America. Now, I believe this album was recorded as the Elvis Costello Show, kind of solo acoustic without the attractions. This is a country rock album, a style that he had only really dabbled in beforehand, but really good material. It really focuses in on Elvis's songwriting. Now, Spike. Paul McCartney comes in on this one. This album it's from 1989, another on the extended play. Some of these extended plays are relatively rare now, but anyway, this album was from 1989, and this pulled it all together from Elvis Costello's career. A little jazz, a little funk, a lot of pop, a lot of rock, and a little reggae. It just pulls it all together. This album is more Elvis Costello, I think, than a lot of others, and I think one of his high points of the 80s. This is Brutal Youth from 1994. Get it in the dollar bin, because I'd always heard some good things about this album. I haven't listened to it yet. Bad me, but I do want to. Love that cover. A lot of great symbolism there. Anyway, this is the most recent album I got by him, the Kojak Variety. This is from 1995. This is actually an album of covers, but as you hear in the liner notes, they're not covers that are big hits. They were things Elvis Costello heard on B-sides and stuff of old records, things that he personally likes. And, he even does a cover of Mose Allison's old jazz number, Everybody's Crying Mercy, where they don't know what it is or whatever. Great album, great kind of R&B, rock and roll sort of stuff. So there's my Elvis Costello album collection. Now, of course, it's incomplete on many, many levels, even within the context of my own collection, but it's just an example of a project that was probably not meant to go as far as it did, but that's what I have. And all those albums you see there, especially the ones from the 70s and 80s, they're all classics. They're all worth you having. So, happy birthday today to Elvis Costello, and I'll see you next time.